What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, talking today about the Game Awards 2023 because I just finished watching it, and to be honest, my brain is completely scattered. That thing was over 3 hours, counting the pre-show, all the announcements, the crazy reveals, the cringe. It was just an enormous load of video games, and as good as it was, it's still too long. Every year I feel like I at least have to slightly roast the Game Awards because as much as Jeff Keighley is trying, it's a bloated mess. But I want to talk about the goods and the bads because there were a lot of incredibly good trailers, and I think a lot of games that deserve to be awarded were certainly awarded, so let's talk about that. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. But before we actually get into anything else, let's thank the sponsor for this video, Factor. The holidays can be incredibly busy because we've got gifts to wrap, games to play, family to see, and on top of that, it's hard to find the time to just eat something that's not just delicious, but is nutritious. And that's why I'm happy to be partnering with Factor. This is America's #1 meals ready-to-eat delivery service. These are good for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. These help you save time and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while also just crossing off items on your holiday to-do list. I really appreciate the fact that their entire menu of 35 weekly flavor-packed, fresh, never-frozen meals are just so yummy. I've actually had so much different stuff across this menu from the last year of having it, and all of them already in just 2 minutes. My personal favorite is these cool add-ons like fresh juice smoothies or even nice desserts. But if you want to try this for yourself, which I highly recommend, you can use my coupon code. If you go to factor75.com and use coupon code DreamCast50 at checkout, you get 50% off your first box of Factor. Now, this is going to be the pinned comment and the top of the description box. I mean, seriously, I have eaten hundreds of these things now, and all of them are fantastic. So go to factor75.com today and give it a try. Eat up and stay busy. Okay, so to even try and scratch the surface of everything that happened at the Game Awards is a difficult process because we literally got so many back-to-back announcements. But before we start to go into the new stuff that was revealed, and some of it is extremely impressive, I do want to just talk about the games that won. Game of the Year was obviously Baldur's Gate 3. Everybody expected that, and in my opinion, very well deserved. The part of this that's probably the most mind-blowing, though, was the fact that Alan Wake 2 really swept. It got best game direction, best narrative, best art direction. I mean, across the board, it definitely got a lot of awards that I wasn't expecting. Best score going to FF16 makes sense. Best audio design, Hi-Fi Rush. Again, that's an obvious contender. These are the ones that I feel like were a bit tough, though. Best performance going from Ben Starr for Final Fantasy XVI or Neil Newborn for Asterion. It's an interesting toss-up. Now, again, this was the one that I think most people were talking about. Best ongoing game and best indie game. Sea of Stars absolutely deserved it. I love Sea of Stars a lot. Classic RPGs. People basically making a fan sequel to Chrono Trigger was extremely cool. But Cyberpunk winning this to me was a giant surprise. Very well deserved, of course, but the Cyberpunk 2.0 update not just fixed the game, it totally changed it. It's practically Cyberpunk 2. And of course, the Phantom Liberty DLC was incredibly epic. But let's talk about those trailers. Now, this is the stuff that was the craziest to me, was that Hideo Kojima showed up to talk about a new horror game called Overdose, or I guess it's officially titled OD. The original leaked name for it was Overdose. This website is completely breaking. Let me see if I can refresh this here. Pretty much everybody is looking at these games right now. All right, I've got some stuff pulled up here. Hideo Kojima's got his trailer here. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm not even going to bother showing it to you because, to be honest, it's just people reading lines with a spooky door clearly opening up. But there have been some leaks that this is sort of an interactive horror movie, and Jordan Peele is going to take part in it somehow. That's extremely cool. Now, this was the other reveal that absolutely blew my mind. God of War Ragnarok Valhalla is a free roguelike inspired DLC coming to the game next week. December 12th, we're getting a free, completely new mode for God of War Ragnarok. The entire internet right now is breaking, honestly, because I think everybody is talking about all of these games, but I mean, to me, this is just super cool. Yeah, Twitter's breaking. That's how much these Game Awards are completely destroying the internet. Final Fantasy did 2 gigantic announcements. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth got a new trailer, which was extremely cool. And honestly, it showed a bunch of new stuff that I was kind of surprised about. A lot of gold sorcery style stuff. Anybody who's played the original FF7 kind of has an idea of what's in store. But even still, that's awesome. Next up, though, this is one that I'm a bit confused by. Echoes of the Fallen and the Rising Tide launches in spring, so we're getting not one, but 2 big pieces of FF16 DLC that take place during the time jump. Anybody who's played 16 obviously knows this, but there's basically like a beginning part and an ending part. This fills in that gap. It lets us see the characters like Joshua and stuff in those interim years. That's a very interesting choice. Now, going back to this list of reveals, the Blade game sounds awesome. It's by Arcane, which, okay, yes, Redfall sucked, but this is better than Redfall. Sega announced that they're making 5 new games, 5 remakes, including, it's going to be Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi, and more. This is wild. There was some talks by Sega themselves saying they were going to make the first quadruple A project. I think that's what this is they're basically going back and remaking every single game. Bringing back Crazy Taxi to me, though, is ballistic insane. I love Crazy Taxi. Who would have ever thought they were going to bring back Crazy Taxi? Okay, so next up, we have a lot of weird stuff. No Man's Sky is making a new game. Freaking Hello Games is making a complete Earth simulator. It is an Earth-sized globe. The gameplay trailer honestly didn't even make sense because the scope is so massive, but it's like a fantasy alternate universe. They basically said, what if you could climb a mountain bigger than Everest and look across the horizons? That would be awesome. Like, here's the thing, though, is that as good as a lot of these trailers were, there was also a lot of filler crap in here. Zenless, Zone Zero, Last Sentinel, some of the stuff was good. Space Marine 2 looks good and stuff. Mecha Break, First Descendant. A lot of these trailers are CG. Rise of the Ronin looks great, and it's coming out in March 2024, coming out exclusively on the PlayStation 5. Skull and Bones still exists. My issue is that as happy as I am about new stuff being revealed, and a lot of this stuff looks good, I still think that Jeff Keighley needs to find a way to trim the fat. You cannot have so many of these freaking multi-hour long, like, I'm a viewer, I'm watching this experience. I was actually in agony for the last hour of it while enjoying it. I got so hungry, so thirsty, just ready for that next big announcement. It's cool that we're getting stuff like a new Hellblade trailer, the fact that we're getting a new Jurassic World game that looks like it's going to be very close to the idea of Alien Isolation. I mean, across the board, it was a good press conference. Just find a way to trim it down. I don't know if that requires less trailers, bump some of them to Summer Games Fest, but I'm telling you, even as a dude who enjoyed it more than most, a lot of people are being like, man, that was good. Cut at least an hour off of this show. This is too much. You know, people say there's no such thing as too much of a good thing. There is, Jeff Keighley, and it's this. But that's been my off-the-cuff thoughts, because honestly, I'm still starving. I ate a couple bites of food. I probably got some chicken in my teeth. I'm going to go finish eating. It's freaking 10:30 p.m. I'm going to be uploading this at 11. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and go play some freaking games. God, I cannot wait. I'm going to definitely do a big video talking about that FF16 DLC probably, and definitely the God of War DLC. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.